I recently did an interview with Dr. Hugh Ross, and we spoke a little bit about God and time. And the idea that I got from Dr. Ross was that God potentially has his own dimensions of time. And I seem to get from you that you think that time is solely created by God, that it didn't exist causally prior to the universe. If, this is difficult to put into words, if God existed prior to time, how could he be relational with himself if there's no time to him to have a relationship? Or does God have his own unique time that's not linear forwardly speaking, but there's multiple dimensions, forwards and backwards, sideways in time? I don't know.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that Hugh is still pushing this line. Because he has been criticized for this view in my book, Time and Eternity. J.P. Moreland and I sat down with Hugh at Talbot School of Theology and laid out for him the difficulties of this viewpoint of God's extra dimensionality. And in that interview with us, he said candidly that he's just using these expressions metaphorically to appeal to physical scientists. But in fact, what he really means in a literal philosophical sense is that God is timeless, that God transcends time. And I think it's better to be straightforward with people and to tell them what you actually think. And my view would be that God existing alone without the universe, not temporally prior to creation, because time begins at the moment of creation, but God without creation, I would say that God is simply timeless. That is to say, unchanging. There is no before and after, no earlier and later in his existence. And I think the concept of the Trinity can really help us to make sense of the timelessness of God. Because what the Trinity tells us is that God is not an isolated individual existing in a lonely, solitary state. Rather, God is a trinity of three persons with a full interpenetration or sharing of love, knowledge, and will. And that is a changeless interpenetration of these three persons with each other in terms of that fellowship of love, knowledge, and will that does not require time. Just as we sometimes speak of two lovers who just sit staring into each other's eyes as lost in that timeless moment, I think God literally is in such a timeless state of fellowship among the Trinitarian persons that involves no change or transition, no earlier or later, before and after, but is a timeless, full sharing or interpenetration of knowledge, love, and will among the three persons of the Trinity. A very rich concept. And the marvel of creation is that God would condescend to create a world of finite persons and invite these persons into that inter-Trinitarian fellowship as adopted sons and daughters of God.